Hello everybody, Derpalypse here, welcome back to some more Leviathan. I'm finally getting this out at least 1 week at a time. We're almost done. We're going on number 16, Family, which is 3 more from being the last one, which I believe is 20. And right now I'm using a fan translation to actually read this because the official one is translated by Google because there's no actually official translated version. So it's very hard to see what the fuck they're saying. I'll probably post up a picture showing you how it looks like. So I'm just gonna be using the fans translation instead. And I believe the one that made this translation, the person, if I could just find it. Yeah, it appears to be translated by a guy called Sake. My English is failing me. I just clicked out of it on accident. Let's see, so click on this. It's translated by Snake Skin F7. I don't know what this thing. I think it's just his Discord tag, but it's been translated by this guy right here. So thank you for that, Snake Skin. I don't know when you translated it. I think it's been like, I don't know, at least 2 years, because that's what the post is on the Reddit that I found it on. But here we are. It's also a lot easier to read too, because in more paragraph format, with a lot more text being in between, and there's not a lot of spaces in between the actual sentences. So it was very easy to actually read this in the actual official thing. But I'm also going to try to add more in pictures. So if you're seeing it right now, I'm probably using my character, or not my character, I'm using Solon Lamet. I know he's called the coffin or the funeral of butterflies, but I'm going to call him Solon Lamet. I was going to have him here as my avatar as I'm talking, as like a default. Probably upside down too, because you know, funnier that way. And then I'm gonna try to make the scenes more animated, and by that I mean I'm gonna try to get some pictures in, and I'm gonna just like do the actions with the pictures. Don't know how that's gonna go. I don't even know how to begin with doing that. I'll figure that out when I'm actually editing up this video. But let's begin. We finally cut back to Vergilius, who has been the ring member and is now back into the corridor on his way to find where the laboratory is to meet up with Garnet and the rest of the group. For some reason he just starts gassing up Garnet again, saying it must have been so easy for Garnet to find the laboratory. He's probably already done everything we needed him to do and save the children. God bless his soul. Now as Vergilius is glazing Garnet, he starts to feel a sense hovering over him, which is called the flow. We've seen him talk about this in Olympus Company, about trying to follow this flow, and he also explains it in this book too. So basically, what the flow is, it allows him to basically have observation hockey, but not to a level to where he can just dodge a bunch of shit and sense things across the entire world. He can only feel things out into where to go. It's like a guide of anything. At least that's what it seems to me. And it's probably what he uses to help the sinners on their journeys to find out which places they need to go for the actual journey, and then sending them off the bus. So he follows this flow to the thing that is leading it to, and calls out to it to see what it was. And as it turns out, it's actually Gubo. Gubo showed up around the corner, scared shitless out of Vergilius. He is shivering in his boots, covered fully in blood right now. So Gubo comes coming around the corner, and he's trying to break the ice with Vergilius, saying, "If we've seen each other 3 times, that must mean we must be old acquaintances, huh? We have such a connection. You want to give me a high five?" Vergilius does not give a fuck about this though, and he's just staring at this man while he's covered in blood walking around the corner like he didn't just murder a bunch of people, and ask him if he did. And before Gubo can even finish answering his question, Vergilius realizes, you just killed him all, the auctioneer and the people in that hallway. Gubo starts to raise his eyebrows. I think he's starting to sweat a little bit because he feels like the Vergilius is gonna kill his ass any minute now if he doesn't give a right response. Gubo tries to lie to Vergilius, saying that if I had myself covered in blood, they would probably think I'm injured and just let me through. Vergilius is looking at him as like, this is also bullshit, and he realizes that he probably had the people accompanying him in the auction to kill the ring members that are guarding the corridor. Gubo then decides to change up his tone against the color fixture. I don't think he has a very good sense of danger, It says that he didn't have a choice because of what Vergilius did in order to get himself into the corridor himself. Vergilius then questions Gubo, asking him, where the hell did you come from? Why are you trying to get up in my business? What are you doing here? Gubo then is like, listen man, I'm just trying to get an asset back that the ring stolen from us. You see, I work at N-Corp. Vergilius then brings up, is it Dr. Herman that you're working directly for? And Gubo confirms his guess. And he then thinks about Garnet, thinking that the researcher that he's looking for is also probably going to be in the lab, and Garnet is really going to love that shit that's going on. Unfortunately, he doesn't really know what's happening with Garnet until the later part of this chapter, but we'll get to it when we get to that. And after he guesses that, Vergilius didn't ask if he's trying to add a feature to... I'm trying to say this without getting the any bad things happen to me from YouTube, so I think I'm just gonna say it like this. He asks if you're trying to add a new feature to the low tier god vending machine, and if you know, you know. And Gubo doesn't really answer that question at all, but Vergilius does explain what the vending machine is, at least what is. So I'm gonna read that right now. The low tier god vending machine, one of the leading symbols of N-Corp, has received countless condemnations and abasements from other nests. But at the same time, it is an open fact that it is the main source of income and culture for N-Corp. It's impossible to estimate how many people move from their nests to T-Corp only to use the low-tier god vending machines. It is considered to be a unique structure of N-Corp. And I'm like, very confused, because the low-tier god vending machine does not sound like a good commercial thing to have. He doesn't really explain more than that. That's literally all he says. So I might be assuming something completely wrong. It might be something completely different. But the low tier god vending machine seems very popular in this world. Okay, I guess, sure. Vergilius is still trying to find more ways to figure out to get more information from Gubo, and that's when Gubo decides to ask, hey man, y'all want to go with me to the laboratory? It might be a fun journey. Maybe we could get some snacks along the way. Vergilius is instantly like, you're trying to use me so you get a safe passageway into the actual laboratory, huh? And so he realized he could use this to try to get more information out of him as well. Gubo then starts to offer him a deal of how to make it more beneficial for Vergilius to let him come alongside him. He tells Vergilius about the glass technology, so now Vergilius knows what it's actually called, and he gives a lot more information about how you get the materials for it. Vergilius thinks about it, and he doesn't really care about the materials because it's easy to get from what he saw in the videotape back in the original chapters. I don't know which one it is now because it's deleted. So he already knows how to get materials for it, and it doesn't seem like it's a good way to make a deal for him. Vergilius then decides to be like, that's a very good idea. That's a very good suggestion you got. Here. How's about this? How about you give me everything you have and then destroy everything that's left and make sure none of it exists? That seems like a fair deal to me. Gubo obviously didn't like this and starts to attack Vergilius with the CSGO knife he bought off one of those stores. Obviously this didn't go well at all. He then gets his ass beat single-handedly with no weapons, and he's now dangling in the air with Vergilius' hands around his neck. So yeah, that's going really well for him so far. So yeah, they have a little bit of conversation of how stupid Gubo was acting like when he tried to pull that shit against the color fixer. And then Gubo eventually gives in to all his demands and decides to take him there willingly because he knew where the lab was anyways. He just needed protection. So as they're walking to the lab now, Gubo tries to strike up a conversation with Vergilius, asking if he brought any colleagues with him into the lab. Specifically a small little kid. I'm guessing he saw Garnet pass by as he was going into the lab himself. Vergilius then answers him, yes, I had a small little kid with me going to the office. He's kind of like my family. Gubo is like, family, eh? That sounds good. That's a word that doesn't really seem to fit you though. I don't know if Gubo is like really brave or stupid, but the fact that he attacked a color fixer and then after that color fixer lets him go and then proceeds to talk shit about how he uses words, he's got some balls. He got some balls, or he's got a lot of brain cells up there. But hey, I can respect it though. Gubo, I'm not gonna put you on the GOAT list, but you're somewhere on the somewhere list. You're in the above average list. Vergilius gets a little bit peeved at what Gubo is saying, but he really couldn't deny what he said. That wasn't a typical word they usually use. It was usually Garnet or Yen. Maybe sometimes never that really used that word. Gubo and Vergilius finally reach the laboratory door and enter through, and are met with a bunch of dead ring members on the floor. Now Gubo is trying to gas up Garnet, is trying to be like, hey man, damn, your kid is really strong. He's able to dispatch all these ring members. He's so fucking good, you know, trying to make sure he's not on Vergilius' bad side when this whole thing is done, just to make sure that Vergilius doesn't get a little bit too antsy and cut off his head. Vergilius doesn't really care. He only knows that he's full of shit, but he's still proud of what Garnet was able to do though. After seeing all the dead bodies on the floor, they eventually see a giant egg, and Gubo's like, damn bro, is that your family you mentioned? No sense of danger at all when he says it. He has a straight ass face too. Like, I can't even imagine like how Gubo is able to do this. What kind of confidence do you not see this man posted right next to you? You act like he can't fuck your shit up. Vergilius, who is also staring at this giant egg that used to be Garnet, or it is Garnet, whatever the fuck it is, it's Garnet, is not too happy about this obviously, and he is very upset about this, and questions why that his flow always leads him into ruin or some very bad area. It's never something really good for him at all. He then sees another flow that leads him down a path that would probably allow him to become a crash out artist. That's what it says. Basically, he's gonna go around killing everybody if he follows this flow. But he decides to not follow this one and follows a different flow entirely. A flow that would keep him on the same path, I'd believe. Because he can never break. This is the life that he grew accustomed to. If he were to break, then everything else would have been for nothing. And that's the end of the chapter. And goddamn. Oh, that feels very bad. Feels very bad for Vergilius here. Garnet is really crucified right now at this moment. Gubo talks a lot of shit for someone that's gonna get his ass beat. He did not run the fade with Garnet. I'm not Garnet. He ran the fade with Vergilius, right? It got instant chokehold, dangling in the air, no pressure. Vergilius could have snapped his neck if he wanted to, but he couldn't because of him being like a high executive in Corp. He probably didn't want to get any trouble with Herman, which is what I'm assuming why he didn't kill him in the first place. But yeah, feels very bad for him. Hope everything turns out nicely, but you know, this is gonna be, well, there's only 3 more chapters left now, right? I think it's at 20 that it ends. There's only 3 more chapters left, or I mean 4 more chapters. Yeah, because this is 16, not 17. But anyways, thank y'all for watching. Snakefin FS is the one that translated it. I don't know what that tag is for. I'm pretty sure it is for Discord. So thank you for that, man. And I don't want to link it because I don't know if it's a virus or not. It could be. I'll link the Reddit for it though, and so you can go there and click it yourself. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.